Chris and Mary, you guys had a very tough leg on the Amazing Race, and you seemed to know that you were going to be last. But what were you thinking when you were heading to the pit stop?
We wanted to finish. We wanted to
Yeah,
make it to the second pit stop. I mean, we didn't want to, I didn't want to quit
yeah.
halfway. I wanted to make it, whatever it took. I've seen other seasons where it looks easier than it really is. Just didn't want to have Phil have to come meet us on the bridge or
Yes.
not make it to the pit stop. So it was a finished goal that we actually made it to the second pit stop. We were last place, but we just still felt great to see Phil for the second time during the race.
Yeah, we're not quitters. I think, it wasn't easy, but there's a lot of things in our life that haven't been easy and we get through them. And I think that that's what's most important for us is finishing what you've started and really once you've set your mind on something, completing that goal, even if it's not pretty or perfect or easy. And I think for us, like he was like, I'm not quitting. Like I don't want to have to be medevaced. I don't want to have to like say I quit and I didn't want Phil to have to come to us. And I think that kind of like speaks to our character. Like we may not have the prettiest story or the path, but we get it done. And I think that that's what's important for us.
I think, at that point, we were pretty beat. I was pretty beat. Thrilled to make it to the second pit stop, even
Yeah.
if it was last place.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know how far behind you were?
I think we were about 10 minutes behind Sean and Michelle.
Yeah, because we had seen them at the face painting, and then we didn't realize until we watched, but they had gotten so lost getting to Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton's house. And so we had finished the face painting, and that whole second leg, we really had our directions like on lock. Like we never got lost ever. And so when we finished the wrestling, we had stopped for directions once and then made our way to the house. And yeah, we were probably 10 minutes behind, but we were so good on our directions that second leg. And I was like, after that first leg where we had wasted so much time walking, I was like, we're gonna get our directions and we're gonna be set. And we just were a little bit slower than everybody else.
Yeah, a little bit slower. And the heat was it was a very hot day that day.
Mhm.
Dehydrated. It really was getting to a lot of people. Even
Yeah.
some of the more fit people were just really pouring sweat and
Mhm.
feeling it. So yeah, it hit me pretty hard. Mary gave me some liquid IV on the bridge and I kind of regrouped, but at that point we just wanted to finish the race or
Hmm.
finish the leg.
Yeah. Well, when you took the breather there, like, was it just the heat? Was like the humidity or both? Like,
I
what
think
was happening?
it was dehydrated.
His leg
Hmm.
was cramping.
They didn't show it, but right before that, all of a sudden we're walking upstairs and both my calves cramped up and I went,
And I'm like in front of him and I turn around. I was like, oh,
and I had to
it's
sit
not
down
good.
and I had drinking water, but she gave me some electrolytes and it
Mhm.
really, in about 5 minutes, it really worked.
Yeah.
Eric, we should do like a commercial for,
Yeah, I was just
Get
worried
some
for him.
SponCon here for the electrolytes.
I was at that point, I was worried for him that he was like pushing himself way past his limit. And so you see me ask him, like, do you need a medic? Because I was
Right.
like, I don't want you to compromise your health
Right.
for a race. And like, you have a life to live.
Yeah, no, thankfully, I have a caring daughter, which it actually helped me,
Yeah.
She gave me the gentle push that I needed. I just needed to sit down for 5 minutes, get my fluids going, regroup.
Mhm.
But even the production was super nice. I mean, they gave me a wet cloth for my neck and some juice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, we saw the same thing with Angie too.
yes,
Yeah.
You had to lie down during the roadblock. Yeah. So you
yeah.
didn't throw up at all. Like,
No,
Thank God.
I just was not. Yeah, she told, don't
I'm like,
throw
why
up on
is
me.
he heaving in my
I
direction?
was just, it was the weirdest thing. I was dehydrated. I was just nauseous,
He was like turning green
Right.
and I'm like, are you gonna throw up? And when he
Right.
starts like kind of like heaving, I was like, turn that way. Like I care about your health, but please don't, over here.
Which is good advice.
mhm. Do you think, because this was a mega leg, we saw over 2 weeks, but do you think you would have been in better shape had this just been a regular second leg? Gone to rest overnight?
When you're not racing, there's a lot of downtime and you can get a little bored in your hotel room. And we had been a little bit bored. And when we hit Phil at the first pit stop, I was the one time that I was like, I can't wait to go back to the room and relax. And he says, it's a keep on
Yeah.
racing. And I think we could have probably done another place possibly. But I could have used an overnight rest period.
I think if it had not been a mega leg, like I said, we really got our directions set that second leg and we didn't waste any steps or any kind of like extra walking or getting lost. And so if we had really had time to rejuvenate, I think we probably could have gotten up a few places and maybe beat those last few teams who were struggling to find that second pit stop, because we didn't get lost at all. And then we would have had really time to like take a breather, settle down, and then like rejuvenate for the next leg.
The day was getting hotter and hotter, obviously. Our cameraman, I think he said we logged about 8 miles of walking with the backpacks and the heat.
Yeah, that was rough. Like you guys had to walk the whole leg. You couldn't take any
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God. When it
especially on
said,
the
it was like the next leg is all on foot, we were like, okay. But again, we were so like getting from the leaving for the second leg and then getting to La Romantica, whatever it was, and then
good
Iguana
time.
Bridge. We were like straight shooters, like never missed a turn. Like we were so on it that
we had
second
spent a
leg.
lot of time with going to the flags and back to the balloons, and it was
Yeah.
just putting too many steps on my body.
Mhm.
Do you think like maybe that was one of your errors, like picking the flags first
Absolutely.
instead of just doing the
Absolutely.
balloons?
We
Those
the
10
balloons
minutes.
balloons were so easy compared to what we were trying to get done with the
Well, it's
flags.
funny too, because the first, like, obviously it was kind of a blessing in disguise that the horses weren't available, but we had opted for the physical challenge because we're like, okay, it's physical, but it's straightforward. And like, he's good physical strength. Like, you know, the cardio was, you know, struggling. But so we were like, okay, for the second leg, let's do the mental challenge. Like, we've already exerted ourselves enough. And then it ended up just being impossible. And so we switched to
The
balloons.
flags, I still to right now don't know what the pattern was.
I mean,
even though
I just watching it, I was like, I don't really understand what you have to do.
I know we don't either, and most of the people don't. It was just a real, I mean, it was colors and flags, and oh my
Yeah.
God. When her friend texted her during the show last night and said, "You're giving me a headache watching this thing."
Good on Busy and Sunny for figuring it out.
Yeah,
I
one
was
way
like,
or the
I have
other.
no idea.
I know. Yeah, they were the only ones, right? I think.
I think so.
Mhm.
I think so. And maybe it
But
was just my luck.
yeah, I think they it was their second attempt too. I was like, it would have taken me like 12
Oh,
probably at
Yeah.
least.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Just couldn't see the pattern they were looking for.
We had cut down maybe 2 or 3 strands and like tried, and she was like, no. And I'm like, I don't even know what we're looking for. Like at this point, we're just guessing. And I was like, that's wasting time.
Yeah. Well, did you guys have any idea before the episode last night that Michelle and Sean and Kishori and Karishma had skipped the detour at first?
We did have
so
an
we
idea.
all like talked to each other, and then we we like had an idea, but I didn't know like how far behind they were, and I didn't realize too, like, you know, how staggered the teams are. So like we left an hour and 35 minutes after the first team left, and to even catch up a little bit and like beat Kishori and Karishma
Well,
and
yeah.
Sean and Michelle, like I was like, okay, wait, this is kind of fun. Like
Yeah.
we're still in this. Like we caught up.
Due to them choosing the wrong
Yeah.
thing, and we got some time, but it was too little, too late for us.
Yeah, and I think that really speaks to how when you're watching the show, it's so go, 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 and everyone's going so fast. But to take a second, get your directions right, take a breather, like really can be the difference between surviving and not surviving on a leg. And so you see that with those two teams, and you know, kind of worked out for us, but ultimately didn't. So
Yeah, a lot of teams last night were just walking and not asking for a lot of directions that we saw in the episode at least. I don't know what happened in real life, but yeah.
Yeah, you mean you see different things.
And I think the first like we had asked for so many directions and kind of just get it in like piecemeal things, like go 2 blocks, and we're like, okay, and then we'd go, and then we're like, okay, wait, well now we have to stop again, and we're like, okay, now where do we go? And they're like, okay, yeah, just go straight, and we're like, okay, and then it's like, now where do we go? So
Mary speaks a little Spanish, so a pretty good Spanish, so it did help us out a little bit.
yeah.
Do you wish that Juan and Shane hadn't told them that they skipped a task?
Oh yeah, so well, you know, I think
Oh, I wonder if they had gone to the Phil like that, then maybe we would have really had a chance.
yeah, you know,
They
I
would
think
have to go back to do it. Yeah.
like if they had finished it and then had to go back, I think we definitely would have had like 2 spots up. But Juan and Shane are just, you know, I describe them as like the most badass, humble guys. Like I don't know how they can be both at the same time, but they're just like genuinely very good guys and obviously competitive. But I think that they wanted to race with their integrity. And so, you know, again, like when I had offered help in that first, like I think sometimes it's just your instincts to be like, hey, like this, you know, you're not in the right place, or, you know, there's no horses left. And so it is such a genuinely nice cast. And I think a lot of like, you know, you're racing and you're going 100 miles per hour, but a lot of your intrinsic personality just shines through. It's like, it's who you are. You can't hide it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a split-second decision too. In the moment when someone asks you and it's like, I need to either tell the truth or lie.
Exactly.
I forgot.
Well, was there anything we didn't see on the show?
I think in the first leg, you know, there's the race to the finish that isn't getting shown. So Vinny came through and flew through the lassos and then obviously got lost on the way to the pit stop. And when we're driving to the pit stop, I was switching lanes like very close to where Phil was. And I'm like, I'm just gonna cut in front of this car. And I turn around and I go, it's Dream Team. And at that point we had like rejuvenated hope that we weren't in last place. So that was really exciting in that first leg.
And they don't even show it, but Mary sort of cuts them off and then goes, "Oh, that's what we do in Boston. We cut them off and we wave."
Yeah, exactly.
The
But I think
aggressive
I'd love
driver,
to see
yeah.
I'd love to see her maybe compete again with a younger partner. I'm very happy to have done it with her, and I think Mary deserves to do it with somebody closer to her age.
Yeah, and I think it would be more cutthroat. Like they don't show this either in the second leg, but after helping Juan and Shane, and my dad's like, you shouldn't have done that. Karishma and Kishori had asked for where the clue box was because we had gotten there like kind of at the same time as them, and then they had asked us like where are the purple balloons, and I was like, oh, I don't know, like blah blah blah. So I didn't help them that time, even though I love them to death. I was like,
Well,
I
you
learned
knew you guys were at the back of the pack at that point. Like, I think it's easier when you're
exactly.
ahead, so it's like you could help
Yeah,
someone out. Yeah.
exactly.
Well, you guys, it was great speaking with you and watching you. And I'm very happy you finished the leg as well. So
That was
Us
our
too.
thank you.
So nice
thank
talking to
you.
you.
Have a good one.
Bye. You too.
Bye-bye.